Good evening, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you today
Good
at
evening,
the
madam.
opening of our new exhibition, the beginning of the year. A very happy New Year to you all, and we open with a very large exhibition this year. It's a group exhibition of figurative paintings, and very aptly we have called it a symphony of emotions. Not only is this symphony seen in reality, but it is very beautifully curated and created by these 11 artists who constitute this entire group show. So to begin with, let me tell you a very little bit about the exhibition. In real life, we see that emotions are our driving force. It is like without your feelings of joy and sorrow, hurt, anger. I mean, we go through a varied set of emotions in a single moment at times, in a particular day at times. And it is these emotions that make for our life force. But keeping all the negativity aside, keeping all the emotions that disturb us aside, the 11 artists that we have for this exhibition have put together a bouquet of joy, of energy, of love, of relationships, all the strings that tie us together as a family, as a living, working individual, because these are positive emotions that nobody can escape. So, to begin with, we will have important guests today. We have called two people who are not just art collectors, but
Can you hear
beautiful
me?
human beings. We have Dr. Sonali Khandekar. Most welcome, Dr. Sonali Khandekar. It's such a pleasure to have you here at short notice, but it's going to be very enlightening for all of us to hear you today. So, Dr. Sonali is an orthodontist. She's Pune based. Anything and everything that she can lay her hands on. She is also a design enthusiast. So, keeping her, aesthetics into mind, her aesthetic sense, which is very strong, she actually wanted to become an architect. But somewhere down the line, she decided to become an orthodontist, which was the next best thing that she could design people's smiles. So, as an orthodontist, she's very well into the field. She has even taught for 11 years. But as a design enthusiast and an art enthusiast, she repurposes furniture. She has also designed a few interiors for her friends, for herself, and she's always on the lookout for old wood, old brass, and this is something that actually brings out the artist in her. So let me leave you to Dr. Sonali Khandekar to tell us a little bit about how she looks at art, how she has journeyed through her aesthetic capabilities, and how she has honed her skills as an art collector. Dr. Sonali, over to you.
Namaskar. Thank you so much, Kavita, for having me here. I'm truly very honored. I mean, I honestly didn't expect to be getting an invite like this. I'm just a regular person, a normal person who likes beauty in every form. As I was growing up, my mother always kept a very good home. She was not really art, as in typical wall art oriented, but the decor, the soft furnishings, potted plants, curios, and whenever we walked into our house, we said, "Oh, our house looks nice." People who came to our house said, "Our house looks nice." So I think somewhere there it really started for me. And as I was a complete tomboy, outdoor person, and we did have fancy gadgets and 24-hour television. So I started looking at flowers and leaves and insects and animals, and I'm an animal lover myself. And somewhere to appreciate beauty became almost like a habit. Growing up, I always was taught that there's beauty in every form, in every individual, in every religion, in every person, in every color, size, shape, living, non-living. So I think that kind of has been a big part of me growing up from a child onwards. So architecture was obviously one of my first choices because that sort of was creating art, or my idea of art, and putting it out to the world to remain, well, sort of a permanent structure for people for years on to see. But wo nahi hua. Then dentistry happened, and I said, let me design smiles. So basically, when I design a smile, I look at a person at 13 and I imagine him what that person will be like at 50, and in between the 20 and the 30 and the 40. So that gave me a lot of pleasure, but the art part of me didn't really go away. I've been painting since I was 15, 16. Did not pursue painting too much after joining dentistry because of academics and the pressure of academics. So 7 साल पढ़ते पढ़ते निकल गए, painting रह गया एक तरफ. But then the design aspect always remained, whether it was then getting little potted plants or getting little curios and modifying them and adjusting them and painting on them. My hostel room, for example, looked like a hotel room. So in fact, there was an examiner who had come at the college, didn't find a hotel for that examiner. And I was told to vacate my room, and kaha gaya, aapka room to hotel jaisa dikhta hai. Government hostel. And my room looked like a hotel. So that's when I had a lot of actually my art on my walls. Um, to me, what is art? I mean, basically, uh, it's beauty. Now, it's beauty in the eye of the beholder. I personally feel that happiness comes from something that makes you feel pleasant. And happiness is the core to everything. When I used to walk into my house, I felt happy walking into my house. When I go into people's homes that look lovely, I think this lovely and I feel happy. When I see people who are smiling, I feel happy. And somewhere along the line, I thought, why not adorn my house and make it happy? I mean, just giving a small example, when we were small children and my parents were in the Indian Navy, Sundays was typically go to the market to buy fish and meat and vegetables. We used to come home, we used to sit together, polish our brass, clean our house, wipe the plants, and then mom would make a meal that was presented in style with proper table setting. We didn't feel like going to a restaurant. We enjoyed sitting in our own home. Ghar felt like a resort. And that somewhere always meant came into my sort of ideology that if your surroundings are happy, you don't seek happiness outside. If your inside is happy, you don't seek gratification outside. मेरे बाल सफेद है, I don't color it. I feel happy about it. मैं जैसे हूँ वैसे खुश हूँ. And I think that kind of reflects overall in every aspect of my life. Now coming back to the art, to me, initially, when I would see art that I didn't understand, I mean, you got your Renaissance, you got your Romanticism, you got your Neoclassic, Realism, Baroque, Impressionism, Abstract, Symbolic, Nouveau, Surreal, Contemporary, Modern. It's the whole range, right? कुछ समझता है, कुछ नहीं समझता है. Earlier, I would look at something and say, I don't like it. And then I realized what I don't like, probably somebody else likes. So now I go, I don't understand it. So for me, art isn't a style, art isn't a medium, art isn't a name. It is something that is on my wall that when I look at, I have Prakash signal behind me. I look at it, makes me happy. Now, when I have to talk to people about what it is about collecting art, I personally feel you need to understand what makes you happy. Whether it's this color or it's that color, it's plastic or it's metal, it's glass or it is stone. Every individual is an individual in his own self. And when I see artists who make some incredible work, I somewhere see their individualism. When I see a piece of art, I look at it a little carefully. I try to see what I like first. And then I like to see what the artist is trying to say. What could he be thinking? What could he be his style? What could he be his lifestyle? And try to understand what created it. Now, what everybody creates doesn't necessarily mean it'll be on my wall because that's not me again. So for people who are collecting art, yes, you can pick big names and then boast about it saying, I have XYZ on my walls. Or you could pick something that you just like, that you don't ever want to get rid of. Then whether it is ABCD or a fancy name doesn't really matter. घर में आप लगाओ, आप अंदर आओ, आप देख के खुश हो. That is, I think, the most important. It doesn't matter whether it's small, it's big, it's expensive, it's glass it's acrylic, it's watercolors, or it's just pencil drawing. It's something that you identify your happiness with. When I get new art or I get new curios and I rearrange my house all the time. हमारे घर में एक मजाक होता है कि इसका किचन छोड़ के हर एक कमरा हर 3 महीने बदलता है. And when I rearrange my furniture or my decor or my soft furnishings and my art, मैं मेहमान जैसे घर के बाहर जाती हूँ and I open the door and I walk in say, अच्छा लग रहा है आपका घर. So, honestly, for me, that is really what art is. I mean, people who are very of collecting or wondering how they can collect, what they should collect, what is right, what is wrong. There's nothing right, there's nothing wrong. It's like what clothes you wear. Savita, you're wearing a sari, I'm wearing a dress because I came out of clinic clothes, मुझे time नहीं था. तो बस एक dress चढ़ा दिया. But honestly, art is pretty much like that. It's what you like. अगर आपको पसंद आया, आपके बाकी के डेकोर के साथ जचा, आपके कलर्स के साथ जचा, what your colors palette maybe may not be mine. But at the end of the day, you want to look at it when you're drinking your chai or you're just walking around and it should make you smile. Today, with a platform like you have and the exhibitions that you're having where you are promoting a lot of new artists, price factor is always one thing that I think a lot of people have in mind when art is mentioned. कि art तो महंगा ही होता है. But people like you, Savita, and the Pradarshak Art Gallery are opening up an opportunity for people to invest in art that is 5,000, 7,000, 15,000. And it's as beautiful as something that is 5 lakhs and 15 lakhs or even 70 lakhs. I had the fortune of meeting MF Hussain Saab. I used to study as a postgraduate and I was staying with Dr. Merchant. Dr. Merchant was my mother's postgraduate guide for pediatrics. Or Dr. Merchant ke dost the MF Saab. And he has come to the house so many times and I've seen like 15 or 20 paintings of MF Saab in Dr. Merchant's house. But such a humble man. So my point is, I like MF Hussain. I like him as a person and I understand his art. I relate with it. But that doesn't mean just an MF in my house defines me. मेरे पास MF साहब का एक प्रिंट है, मेरे पास उनकी ओरिजिनल भी नहीं है. पर जितना खुश होता है देख के प्रिंट, उतना ही खुश होता है देख के पेंटिंग. So for me, basically, I feel that people who want to start collecting art should first really understand what makes them happy. What colors make them happy, whether it's human form, whether it's landscape, whether it's abstract, whether it's animals, it's people, it's buildings, it's water. It doesn't matter. It's what a person thinks that would look nice for them. It doesn't matter what their guests feel. It doesn't matter what your uncle and aunt feel. And start collecting, start buying things because art is something like jewelry. If you like it, you get it and you keep it. And then it goes to the next generation and it goes to the next generation if you look after it well. And I think any day is a good day to start. Anything tiny or anything big or anything bigger is a good way to start. Whether it's the budget restraint or the confusion over what you want, or whether it's, I'm not sure what will people say, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. I personally do not or too contemporary because मुझे नहीं समझता. But I do have a couple of abstracts from Madhuri Bhaduri. So that's my level. Or from Santosh Kumar, I got something that was an abstract. But what attracted me to it was the colors. So I feel for me, collecting art, I think is the style, whether like you want a human form or a landscape or an animal or a dog or water or trees or mountains, that is an individual choice. Then the next thing is your colors. What colors make you happy? What colors go with your house? And what is something that you will likely stick with for the rest of your life? Start with one, start with
Lovely,
two.
Sonali ji. Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely. Thank you so much, Sonali. And as you say, it is absolutely an individual choice. Just as individuality characterizes the artist's work, it is our choice, our individuality that characterizes the way we buy art, the way we perceive it, and we use it in various spaces like our homes, our offices, and our stores and things like that. So it's really all about individuality, and that is what we literally celebrate when we are celebrating art and the artist. Thank you
Right.
so much, Sonali ji, for giving us your views and talking to all the
And
artists.
talking like fast,
Uh,
fast, 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 non-stop, non-stop.
so time is always a very, very precious commodity, and we have to look after it. I would now like to invite our next guest of honor, um, Bela ji. Miss Bela Sanghvi is Bela ji is here. Bela Ben is here. Miss Bela Sanghvi is an artist herself, but she is much, much more than an artist. She has been a lifelong chronicler of textiles, textile art, and handicrafts in India. And she has literally introduced, I mean, she is working towards the revival of textiles. Now, she was introduced to weaving when she was very young. So, with her continued interaction with the artisans, she came to realize that reviving traditional textiles was extremely important, especially a lot of textiles. Techniques are traditional weaves that are becoming extinct. So she works a lot into economic sustainability for the lives of the artisans and in reviving textiles. Bela has worked to generate employment also for the artisans, and she gives them the freedom to enjoy the craft that they are, so talented at. She is also an artist who develops saris. She's a textile artist, so she's very good at making at weaving designs, and she makes some beautiful saris. And in addition
Yeah.
to that, she's also working on a book to document her research in various textile techniques in India. She's incidentally, Bela is the president of the Crafts Council of Maharashtra, and she has very kindly consented to be with us this evening. Bela, can we see you?
Yes, yes. I'm here. I just dropped my phone by
Yes,
mistake.
yes,
It's a
no problem.
pleasure.
Most welcome,
For
Bela. Pleasure to have you
Thank
with
you.
us.
A pleasure to be.
So I would,
Uh, we've known each other since such a long time, and it's such a pleasure if I can do something for the art and for friends. I mean, it's
lovely,
the best
lovely,
combination that I can have. Thank you. Thank you for giving me this
excellent.
opportunity, and thank you for remembering for this.
Most welcome. It's our privilege and honor. So Bela ji, tell us and all our artists a little bit about your journey, how you got introduced to art, what art means to you, and whatever it is that comes to your mind that can give the artists a little insight and our buyers a little insight on how one really goes about looking at art and perceiving it.
First of all, for me, art is like poetry, where you respond wherever you are in your life, you respond accordingly. So it's not something about what others want to say, but it's more about what I understand from it. So, say for example, I have done one mural on the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, first shloka, and that itself has covered the whole mural, which is about 14 feet by 8 feet. So, but wherever one is, if one is what you call a spiritual person, then one will be able to identify the shloka, and one will be able to uh, kind of identify what I'm trying to say through the 15th chapter of the shloka, where Krishna is describing our energy system. And the energy system is, according to Krishna, it's upside down. From Mooladhara to our brain, like a people tree. That is what he is describing it as. And I have interpreted it in my way, along with my name means Bela. My also, I believe that we have 5 senses. We have balances like female and male energy. We also we have in our tea. So I have made a comment via my art on, uh, I mean, that is via my textile mural on this subject. Now, if one is just familiar with different handloom and handcrafted and uh, what you call khadi techniques, then one will look at it from that angle. How wonderful our techniques are, how beautifully balanced the mural is, or something like that. Whereas when one is into the color balance and things like that, so or they will look at it from that angle. Uh, Also, when one is, very evolved spiritually, then they will get the message. So it's not about what I am trying to say as an artist, but it's more about what you understand from it. I also believe that it's a reflection of yourself. I also believe that uh, art is like, you can't, I mean, there are people who say, oh, this, I have this artist, or oh, I have this particular person's mural, or textile mural, or whatever. But it's not about that. It's about how you are reflecting with it. Also, I feel whether one will be able to live with that art, for life. Investment is good. It's necessary also. From that angle, who's the artist, all that is very important, but also the enjoying of that art. If I'm spending 10 crores of rupees, at least I should be able to enjoy it for a few years of my life before selling it for few more crores. But the whole point is, wherever the artist is the artist's issue. But wherever you are, it's a reflection. So I do believe that art needs to be looked at it from very personalized way of looking at it. And it's just like Javed ji writes beautiful poetry, but it's my life experiences which is going to make me understand what I understand from that particular poetry. So that's what I enjoy about art. I got introduced, I think, via my mom. My mom was a very artistic person, and she enjoyed, and she, for a short time, she collected a lot of miniature paintings. So I think my base is very classical and very rooted in Sanatan Dharma. But at the same time, it's relevant to everybody. So I do believe that that quality is necessary in any mural, any painting, any art, which will connect at different levels for everybody, but it will make others also connect with the art. I collect art since like 50 years now, and uh, I think uh, I have lot of fresh artists, which you promote quite a lot, and I love that about Gallery Pradarshak, who helps out the artists from the beginning. They, when they are not very famous, and they have a potential to be famous, and Lalitji, all of you work so hard to help them out. I appreciate that tremendously. So congratulations on this show. And the show is absolutely, absolutely fabulous. So I wish all the artists all the very, very best, and all the very best to you also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
very
very
much
much.
for being here, sharing your views with us. And it's really nice to know that
Yes.
we have people like you who are so well versed in the field and so much senior, but you really value the talent from down upwards. So that makes a lot of, uh,
Oh,
it adds a lot of value to the way people perceive the upcoming artists, because we have a lot of artists who tell
They
us
are the
that
future.
yes, they are the future,
The upcoming
definitely.
artists that you are promoting,
Yes, and
they
unless
are
you
on the
don't
future.
nurture, and unless you don't nurture them, you don't know who's going to reach that, height in reaching that particular
Exactly.
level of art
Exactly.
and that
Exactly.
particular level of finesse.
Yes.
We have a lot of artists who tell us, they say, "आप हमको बेचते रहते हो, हर जगह पे कोई हमसे बात नहीं करता." So this feels bad. It feels very miserable that just
True.
because there are artists who are not from a very well-to-do background, or who are from the interiors, in the villages, and they do not get heard, that is something that is a little difficult to digest. So we try to give them as much exposure as we can, but that's all we do. After all, it's their talent, and it's their own hard work that really pays off. Coming back to this exhibition, I would like to unveil a small catalog and take you through all the artists that we have. Just one line each. I will not bore you. And then
No,
you
it's a
can
pleasure.
take a look
An
at
artist deserves more than one line.
So we just give me 2 seconds. I will share the screen.
Yes.
I am not able to share the screen.
Okay.
Once is it visible?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
So we start with, we have 11 artists in this exhibition, which is called the Symphony of Emotions. And taking it on randomly, I have not gone alphabetically, but randomly, the first artist is Anjali Mehta. And Anjali is a Pune-based artist. And as we see, she uses very bright colors, and she is very inspired by everyday happenings, the everyday things that happen around her, her experiences, little routine stuff. But all of this takes on a very distinctive style in her work, and she works in a lot of layers with happy colors. And these, kind of create little narratives in her work that come out as paintings. And that this is where we get to check her out of what she does. I'm sorry, I lost the screen.
We
Give
can
me a
still see
second,
it.
please.
Yep,
Oh, you can see
it's
it?
still there. Yep,
Yeah,
we can.
yeah. Okay. The next artist is Monica Goulet. Now, Monica Goulet is, now if you can see, the very distinct characteristic of Monica's paintings is the pattern on pattern. It's
Yeah,
this
like a
girl has
textile.
like a textile, but very, very talented way of juxtaposing different patterns. Again, this little girl in her, in her psyche is what comes out. So she's always had a very close feeling of relationships, and she always missed having siblings, especially a sister. And her love for a sibling, her love for animals, and all this forms the composition of her paintings. And of course, as you can see, the pattern on pattern, which she has really mastered. So this is actually a round painting. It's a 3 feet dia painting, and she also creates squares and rectangles, of course, like everybody else. Another one here is Ranjit Sathe, another Pune-based artist. Now
Wow.
here his is the ultimate emotion, the emotion of, anyone can say, it's the emotion of
Love.
love,
Maternal.
the eternal love. So it's whether it's mother and child, it is a couple, or it is a shishya and guru. So this is where Ranjit, picks up these very close knit relationships based on love, and his backgrounds are always
Yes.
layered, stark, and the human figure takes center stage. Our next artist is Kavita Tambolkar, again Pune based. We have a lot of Pune artists in this show, and in her case, it is again the man-woman relationship, and a woman. It's a lot of woman-centric work. A few of them have a lot of woman-centric work, and here she again, if you see, the face is very palpable, the kind of the way she treats the faces, the way the eyes are, expressions, and happy colors. It's always happy colors. The mood is always buoyant. So she doesn't like to do anything which is depressing. It's always a buoyant mood. Like we said, that's why it's a symphony of emotions. This is artist Ayushi Jain from Mumbai, and her subject is all the workers who work very hard, whether it's your maid, it's the istriwala like we see over here. And in fact, she's titled the painting Istriwala. And you see the joy in the way they work. It's not to do with worldly pleasures, or it's not even to do with the woes, because it's hard work. But she captures the essence of this feel good in the way they work. And this is what we see in her works. There are others where she's captured a rickshawala, she's captured a shepherdess, and there are other works as well. But this is what she captures. This is the essence of her works. We have Dipty Nikam. Dipty Nikam is a young artist who has been visiting the tribal village of Wadli very often, and looking at their simplicity and their way of life, she has been recreating the Wadli, but in a contemporary form. So instead of using the rice powder and the lepan that they use, she has been using acrylic on canvas, and she has created her own contemporary version of Wadli. So this is, again, in a way, kind of reviving an art that is not as rampant as it used to be.
Yeah.
Madhuri Gayawal is our next artist, and she is totally woman centric. In fact, all her women, if you see, her moods are directly captured through her protagonists in her paintings. So she says art is therapeutic for her. The way she looks at art when she paints, and she feels that it kind of washes away the hardships that or turbulent thoughts that she has. That's what her paintings do, and I'm sure that's what they do even to the viewer.
Yes.
Ramesh Teshmani is very old, a very senior artist. Now he's been painting for the last 27 plus years, and his lead motive is the man-woman relationship. But this is more semi-abstract, where you cannot really look at exactly what he's trying to say, because the complexity of the relationship is perhaps what really comes through in Deshmani's work. So through color, through form, the beauty of this is that every time you look at it, like Bela was saying, based on your experiences, on your moods, it changes. What you perceive changes. So this actually is the way one looks at paintings. A painting connects with you at various levels, based on your mood, based on your atmosphere, based on your mindset. You connect with the painting connects with you, the same painting interacts with you differently. It's all a game of a person's mind, the way it works, the psyche and individuality, which totally underlines everything. We then have Renu Dayal's work. Renu Dayal is a self-taught artist, and she paints just about everything, whether it's horses or musicians, or various people who are interacting with each other, which she beautifully showcases in her semi-abstract work. And there's something, a tinge in, a quality in her work that reaches out to you, intrigues you, and wants you to learn more. What is the artist thinking, and what am I thinking looking at her work? She brings
There's
out that
there's dynamics in motion.
dynamics in motion here. Yes, that is true, and that's true of all of her works, most of her works. We now have Pritam Chivate's work. Now he's a young artist from Nasik. We have Pritam and his sister Priyanka Chivate. Both are showing with us. And here we see a semi-abstract composition where mythology plays a prominent role in his work. The current series, is based on mythological characters, the way they interact, his own narratives that he weaves in with bright colors, with very vivid compositions, and they literally, you want to get in and understand what is the story that the artist is trying to convey. And this is his sister Priyanka Chivite, and she is again very very influenced and very very inspired by the traditional way of life. So it's always women with who are clad in saris with a bindi on their head, flowers,
Very
a lot of
Vaikuntham.
very Vaikuntham style. Yes, of course it's not there as yet, but yes, she is inspired, and she is going good. I mean, she's trying to, very gradually honing her skills, and you can see her other paintings are very vivid. So she uses all the regular festivities or routine work that a woman does, and all these form the subject of her paintings. So these are our 11 artists, and sorry, and this is where we are showing our Symphony of Emotions. I would urge you all to take a look at the exhibition, and with this special evening with our two special guests, Dr. Sonali and Bela Ben, we declare this exhibition open. We
Thank
hope
you.
that
Thank you.
you
Thank
can,
you. Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
all of you do visit gallerypradarshak.com and take a look at the show. It's on.
It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you,
Thank you so
Kavita.
much for being here with us.
Thank you.